Good morning, and welcome to another installment, another time of sharing with Be Encouraged and Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement. If you're populating now, why don't you say hello so that I can say hello to you? Good morning, Sir Cedric. How are you? Good to see you here. I see that we are populating, so those of you who are coming in, please come on. Good morning, sunshine. Getting excited. Um, and I know that others are on their way. And so we want to talk today. Good morning, Lady Clarice, about the transforming power of gratefulness. Now, we're going to do it. This is a two-part of gratefulness. We will talk about gratefulness from that perspective on today. But then next week, we will also share with my friend, my little brother, my nephew more than anything, because his brother, well, he's my little brother. His brother was my friend, and so we're going to talk about his text, his book that he wrote that we introduced last year, but that we're going to spend some time on the gratefulness journey every day on next week. We'll probably be at a different time because we're going to try to combine forces. For in the evening, he does what we call the Love and Stuff community. And so Love and Stuff is going to combine with Be Encouraged next week and have a really strong time of sharing and communing with one another and connecting these ministries to say that we must be grateful. We have to have a gratefulness journey every day. So I'm excited about that, excited about sharing with him and with you. And I think you will be blessed by it. But today, we start our conversation on gratefulness. Good morning, Miss Mayetta. And how we must understand that it is our gratefulness that really transforms how we see the world, how we see our lives. Often we are caught up in the things that we are dealing with on an everyday basis. And sometimes those things can be absolutely overwhelming. And I'm not going to tell you that they cannot be, because they can, and they are sometimes overwhelming. And I'm going to go in and change this text because that is the wrong scripture for today. And so I want to make sure that you get that 1 Thessalonians 5:18 is our scripture text for the day. And so let me fix that on here so that we are reading it and knowing that it is what's going to serve us, what's going to help us, because it simply says that we should give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks with a grateful heart. And so if we're going to give thanks with a grateful heart, that means we have to look at life through a lens of gratefulness, always looking for what we can be grateful for. And sometimes that's hard, because when we're in the midst of struggle, as we've dealt with for the last 20 months now, and we've had multiple losses, people have dealt with multiple transitioning of people whom they love, sicknesses, trying to get past sickness, hoping that you can get well, all of those things. Sometimes it's hard in the middle of it to be grateful, although we've been told to be grateful in all things. That's a different subject. What I'm asking us, and I'm encouraging us to do today, is to recognize this, that when we look at things, hello, my joy, through a lens of gratefulness, we find that the burden of them gets lifted and we get shifted to another place. There's a reason that it's transformational, because when I'm going through, but I'm grateful for what it is that I have, when I'm having lack, but I'm grateful for life, health, and strength so that I can attain, then I'm looking at life through a lens of what can be. as opposed to a lens of woe is me. We've got to recognize that the woe is me lens is not helping us to move forward. It only keeps us in that pivot. Helps us become, as I often tell the story of the dog on the nail, that the dog on the nail sees other things going around, sees other people moving around, but is afraid to get off the nail because they don't know what's going to happen when they do. When he does. And so he stays on the nail, even though getting off the nail might hurt for a moment. What he will find is that will heal. And when that heals, then he'll be able to be all that he needs to be again. We're the same way sometimes when we're in our woe is me, when we find ourselves in places of pity, when we find ourselves feeling bad about ourselves and feeling like we're lacking something because we don't have something we may see others with. But I want you to begin to think about this, to be encouraged, to look at life through the lens of gratefulness. What am I grateful for, even though I'm going through? You're right, Joy, it does cripple us if we can't look at through that lens. But when we look through the lens, it's liberating. It frees us from the struggle. Good morning, Alan. It frees us from the struggle of not seeing life with light, seeing life with hope, seeing life with joy, seeing life with possibility. Only when we look through a lens of gratefulness can we see possibility, can we see joy, can we have hope, and can we see light. So we have to be grateful. And so I'm encouraging you to change your scope, change your lens, change your view, make the adjustment, clear up your lens, and see life through a lens of gratefulness. The other thing that gratefulness, looking at life through a lens of gratefulness does, is it helps us to love better. It helps us to care for people so much more. For when we know that any feeling of love and care that we receive is a blessing and we're able to be grateful for that, then what we say is that we are living out our gratefulness in the way that we love one another. And we'll talk more about love and gratefulness next week when we are with Marcus Holmes, and we are talking about our gratefulness journey every day. But today, just begin the process of choosing to look through a lens of gratefulness. Because when you're thankful, everything else finds its place, finds its equilibrium. So be grateful for every day. When we're grateful in the morning, when we're grateful in the midday, when we're grateful in the evening, and when we're grateful even when we're going to God in the midnight hour, we can be grateful for just being able to have the privilege of prayer in those times. So we've got to shift that lens and know that when we look at life through a lens of gratefulness every day and all day, then the burdens get lighter, the struggle gets lessened, our way of looking at things gets brighter, and we are able to move forward and to do all that has been charged to our lives to do. And not to do it with grumbling, but to do it with gratefulness. Not grumbling, but grateful. Choose to be grateful because it's transforming. It'll turn your life around. It'll turn your world around. It'll turn your relationships around. It will turn everything around because the power of gratefulness is transforming. Don't forget that. As you walk through this next week and a half, as we get toward Thanksgiving and all the preparations that come along with it, and all of the struggle that we have, that we can't do it the way that we want to do it and the way that we always have in the past. If we look through a lens of gratefulness that we're here and that the loved ones that we have with us are with us and they're here, then we begin to look at things differently and we find joy. in this season. May God bless you. I'm praying for each of you who is struggling with a first Thanksgiving or a second Thanksgiving without those who have been lost during this season. Not lost with a T, but we've experienced the loss of them during this season of COVID and everything else that goes along with it, because everyone has not passed from COVID. People have passed from other things. And Gail, keep on trying. Keep on trying to be grateful in all things because it transforms your life. We're praying for you, knowing that God is able to keep us. Look up. Be grateful. Thank God in everything because God knows all that we need, even when it doesn't feel good. Look up, stay grateful. Know the transforming power of gratefulness will be yours if you choose gratefulness every day. We'll talk about that more next week. But go forth this week, today, tomorrow, later today when life starts getting rough again, when the memories start to flood back. Be grateful for the lives of those people who have been in your life. Choose to be grateful and be encouraged. Gratefulness transforms our lives. Don't forget it. Be encouraged.